Welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this is the Christmas pack episode of The Thunder Show. And I just want to say right off the bat, hello to all the new incoming Vaniacs, because after this show, and after the other person tells you what this is all about, you will be hanging out with us, changing the wine world, and I appreciate that. Let me start off by saying this has been a tremendous year of The Thunder Show, and I'm just blessed and so happy to have all of you part of this. I'm excited. There are over thousands of you, over a couple thousand of you who are doing this today. Mott, that's scary. That whole wall, gone. Mott, show it to them. Gone. Gone. All the packages gone. They're hopefully all in your homes now, and we're about to taste these four wines. If you had a chance and you saw the show the other day, we are decanting the Château de Caillac 2005 Grave for 2 hours, which we have done here as well. But if you haven't, that's okay. It's not going to kill you. It's just we want to do something a little fun. So we've got four wines here today in the Christmas pack, all from Bordeaux, 3 from the classic 2005 vintage. And I want to really get into that because 2005 is a remarkable, amazing vintage. And everybody talks about the high end and the high prices and the crazy prices and the really sought after wines. But what makes 5 amazing is that you and I probably could have made a good 2005. That's how special the vintage was, the weather. And so what's really exciting about the 05, in my opinion, is the 9, the 19, and the $15 and $16 wines in that vintage where there's value going through the roof, and that's extremely exciting. Before I get started, I just want to wish everybody the healthiest and happiest next holiday week. It's great. This is a great time of year. Please, before we do anything, if you're with anybody you care about right now, I want you to stop and give that person a hug and a kiss and tell them you love them. Mott, get over here. That's right, baby. The Mottster. He doesn't have his own t-shirt, but Mott, great job. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to everybody. Oh, I'm about to steal Mott's hat. That's what life is all about. So please, pause me right now. I know it's hard. And give the person next to you a kiss, a hug. Thank them for the wonderful year. These are friends and family, and that's way more important than 100-point wine or which team wins the Super Bowl. Okay, which team wins the Super Bowl and all that other jazz. And we're so all blessed, so lucky to be on the planet Earth, enjoying each other's company. And of course, I adore people, and that's what makes this so much fun. I just want to apologize for anybody that's emailed me over the last 3 weeks. It has been impossible, so I will hopefully get to that tomorrow, the 26th, the 27th. I'm flying, so I get a lot of damage done then. So hopefully by the end of next week, I will get back to you. We have a cheese here. I asked you the other day to predict what happens to the Thunder Show in 2008, and my personal prediction, and of course I have a little leverage, is that I will be doing a dramatic amount of food on the Thunder Show. I am so crazy about gourmet food. I love it. And cheese, I may even love more than wine. So we'll be doing things like this. Take a look at this label. That's what we're doing today. This is a Portuguese cheese, Evora. It's a DOP. This is Evora, is a beautiful sheep's milk cheese, and I'm super excited about getting into that. One of the things we're also working on for you next year is to have the ability, even if you're in states that we don't ship to buy the swag, the t-shirts, the wristbands, the cheeses, things like that. So you don't have to email Brian Delatorre. All of you who've tried to buy swag and t-shirts on Wine Library TV, you know exactly what I mean. And a big announcement. We have done something for you that millions and millions of Vaniacs have asked for, which is we now on winelibrary.com have a wish list. Check it out. Mott, pretty big, huh? We had to come through. Santa had to deliver something. He delivered a wish list. Enough of that mumbo jumbo, except one last thing. Mott, link it up. America's Where's the Beef is out. Mott, link it up. Dan Levy made an outrageous video for me. I only saw it yesterday. He emailed me on the 12th. I missed it. Right around the time we did our 1-year anniversary. Mott, link it up. Check this guy out. Check this video out. It's pretty rad-ool. You're going to like it. Please check that out and let me know what you think. And that's it. Wishlist, love the family, Dan's thing. And now let's get into the show. Let's all sit down, focus, bring out your big-ass glass or your little glass or your plastic cup or your bucket. I don't care. This is how the Vayner Nation rolls. Whatever makes you happy, do it. What makes me happy is pouring into the big-ass glass. Yiko. Anyway. Yes, Mott, I know. I've been doing it a long time and I forgot. Château de Caillac 2006 Grave. And you'll notice this is a $16 bottle of wine, even though I hate Vinny Testaverde. $16 wine, 80% Sauvignon Blanc, 20% Semillon, which is classic Grave white grapes. And what makes this a really interesting wine is that this wine is part of a category that I think is extremely fascinating. Now we're going to tone it down. I think I scared off all the people you brought to the party and to the table to watch this, so I apologize. But all the real maniacs are still with me. If you're still with me, leave something right now. Say with me. I want a lot of comments today. I know you're still with me. Now I'm going to get into wine mode because I really want to educate and enjoy this because I think that's what it's about. And so let's get into this wine. This is a $16 white Grave. Grave is a great part of Bordeaux, producing some of the great white wines in the world. And so Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon are really flourishing in this area and producing wines that I think are completely under the radar. So many people focusing, including me, on Sancerre and Loire Valley Whites or New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs, or some of you California Sauvignon Blancs. A lot of people are looking to shy away from the oaky, oak monster California Chardonnay style and have been gravitating towards these Sauvignon Blanc-based wines, yet people have not been realizing that some of the best versions and varieties and wineries that produce this wine come from Bordeaux. Yet, with demand soft, you're able to get some real value, except for the Haut-Brions and things like that. Those get a little bit high, but here's a great producer, Kayak. We also have the Red, who produces great white wine. When I was in Bordeaux, this wine completely stunned me. Let's see how it's doing now, because I had to out of the tank, or barrel sample actually, see what's going on. But right off the bat, on the snell, so let's give it a sniffy sniff. That's right, I said sniffy sniff. I'll explain. You get a little subtle grass and lemon. I almost get like lemongrass with a little squirts of lime juice on top. I also get a little hint of banana peel, which I think is extremely fascinating and very pretty. This has a beautiful nose, and I think if you drink a lot of New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, you'll see it's a toned down version of what goes on there. You still get that lemon, a little hint of honey. This one Argentine honey that I have that I love comes through a little bit. Mott, should we link up the wish list? Link it up. Mott, link it up. No t-shirt. You're sad, right? The Vaniacs are Grinches. Yeah. They didn't vote for you enough. I'm sorry. Beautiful on the nose. Let's get into it. On the mouthfeel. You're going to see exactly what I love about this. Stay with me now. Go like this. I know you're laughing, right? You're looking into computer, looking at a guy, and playing Simon Says. Gary says, do this. No. So anyway, you can see this wine has enormous length. I'm still tasting a combination of stones with lemon, with a little tad of butter. Great acidity, but very smooth. Not razor sharp, like you get sometimes in other wines that we've focused on, white wine. This is a more cream puffy action going on. What I'm getting here, though, is beautiful mouthfeel. And I can tell you right now, this is a white wine that will cut through Dover Sole, for example. This length and polish that this white wine brings, the creaminess, almost like that whipped up cream that you taste. I like to call it cloud because it seems like it's just expanding all over my mouth. Is a very acquired taste, yet something that I think once you start pairing up with fish and with light fare, salads and oysters and things of that nature, you will be really addicted to. This is the kind of white wine that really hits my palate and I really enjoy. And the reason I brought out this cheese. I love the Savora with light, crisp white wines. Now, you've got to seek this out. I brought this because I wanted you to see. That's the package it comes in. What I love about this cheese, it starts up a little nutty, and then it gets real funky. Even when you smell your fingers, it's a little rancid, Where did I stick this? Anyway, has a great nutty flavor to it. Walnuts and almonds and chestnuts, but a great creamy length. And then when you pair it with the wine, this is really when your palate starts enjoying itself. And so the combination of this beautiful nutty cheese, which is just great. I'm addicted. What can I say? wine and cheese. What else could you possibly want? Just beautiful. Great length. The cheese adds a lot of weight to your palate. The white wine expands, gets a little more floral, almost grainy, grape nutty, almost weed-like, dry weeds in Arizona. And it just really gets nice. The whole mouthfeel gets very extraordinary, wild, and just a really well-made white wine. And I think a white wine that a lot of people are going to gravitate towards because it's completely different. It's not that grapefruity, grassy aspect. It's got more length and more body to it than most wines in that caliber. And so if you do anything going into 2008, please explore some white Bordeaux because there's amazing stuff going on. Let's move on. The Château de Lavignac, Bordeaux. Bordeaux appellation, so it's from any parts of Bordeaux, 2005 vintage. This wine is 75% Merlot, 20% Cabernet Sauvignon, and 5% Cabernet Franc. It is a $9 bottle of Bordeaux. And I think as you pour it, and you rinse, and you dump, and then you pour again, you will see that this is a wine that brings value to the price point. Let's give it a sniffy sniff together now. And you're going to smell a little bit of that like raspberry cranberry combo fruit roll-up with the cutouts, like dinosaurs popped out. I mean, that's when Fruit Roll-Ups jumped the shark when they started putting the cutouts in it. You remember that? That's when it was over for me. But anyway, you're going to get that fruit roll-up-y kind of cranberry, raspberry component on the nose. I think you'll find, and I do find, extremely aromatic for the price point. What do you get for $9 in California? Cab and Merlots. Nothing that's this aromatically interesting, and I like that. Let's give it a whirl. What we're getting here is some bitter back-end tannins, so it's going to catch you. There might be some people that are really turned off by that aftertaste. That does blow over in a couple years, but it's definitely a bitter tannin on the back end, which you have to be aware of. However, the red dates and the plum aspect on the front end and that really nice woody kind of cedar box on the mid palate, I'm really enjoying. It gets tangy and a little bit bitter with the tannins on the back end. Really depends on your threshold for tannins. For me, it's kind of not a big deal and actually adds a little flavor to the mix. However, for some people, I know that they're bitter back-end tannins, so I know that that would turn some people off. However, you're getting real wine at this price point. None of that artificial Shiraz kind of component or the Cab and Merlots that are so boring and so fruitified and fake that are coming out in this price point. What I like about this is it's a true wine for $9. It's got some great polish and very drinkable. I know there's a lot of you right now drinking this and saying, you know what? This is not bad. This is not the best wine in the human earth. No siree, Bob. But on the flip side, this is a great everyday, weekday, school night wine with some complexity and some realness. And so if you're trying to expand your palate, instead of buying a case of Bogle or Kendall Jackson or Clos du Bois or Ruffino Chianti or the same old stuff, you step out of bounds, you start trying some of these value-driven 2005 Bordeaux's that are so well made, coming from such a great vintage that they almost couldn't ruin it if they tried. Again, this is an effort where I don't think the winemaking is extraordinary. However, I think when you taste this wine, you will taste the purity of the fruit for a $9 wine, which is extremely rare. Mott, zoom in. Rarity of purity of fruit at this price point, and that's what you need to focus on. You have to understand that when you spend $9 on something where the euro is kicking the dollar right now, and you get this real kind of fruit, it's rare. Start popping $8, $9 wines. You can zoom out, Mile. Start popping $8, $9 wines from all over the world, and you're going to see that high C fakeness. And what I love about this Bordeaux and many other I tasted while I was out there is you get that lilac and that violet floral component on top of that cranberry juice kind of flavor. I feel like I'm in New England in a flower shop, and then we go out and pick some cranberries or grab some cranberries or whatever it is. Flip side, $9, great value. An 87, 86, 87 type point wine, but easy drinking. Do you see it? Except for that little bit of tannins, which already is blowing away for me. I find this wine very drinkable and very exciting, and I really wanted everybody to experience, because a lot of you are thinking that you got to spend $20, $30, $40 on 2005 Bordeaux, but the specialness of this vintage is allowing for some screaming values in the under $10 price range. Seek them out. They'll be everywhere for a little while. So, Château Moulin de Lavaude, Lalande de Pomerol, 2005. The Lalande de Pomerols are driven by value. This wine is 75% Merlot, 25% Cabernet Franc, and a very serious producer, $19 US. I'm a big fan of Lalande de Pomerol because I feel like you get real serious value for your price point. I always think of Lafleur Burrard, and he's just making some great wine over there for like 30, 40 bucks. This is a small producer that I've never heard of until my trip. I've been really blown away by the way it tasted 6 months ago when I was in Bordeaux. Let's see how it's acting now. It's the first time I'm tasting it again, so I'm excited about that. It's got some great color. Let's pour out a little bit of wine for everybody that you wanted to join you today that couldn't. There we go. There's a lot of people on that list for me. And let's give this a sniffy sniff. Why don't we? Now, right off the bat, you know that we've just leaped from single A baseball to the major leagues. You can smell it on the nose right off the bat. It's stepping up and giving you a much more dense, serious black chocolate kind of component. I get a gorgeous creaminess that I'm really enjoying on the nose. Again, creme fraiche. Some blackberry. I'm getting a little cedar and a hint of asparagus tip on the top. White asparagus, not green. So I'm feeling that. White and green. JETS, baby. Hey, we keep losing. We're getting better picks. Wait till you're going to see me on the draft. I've been on ESPN's draft every year, so you'll see me. I'll be there. I will wiggle my way onto the camera. Beautiful nose. There's that cave aspect that I love to talk about. You know, that cellar cobweb kind of spiders and bats going on that I'm enjoying on the tier on the back end there on the nose. Let's give it a whirl. I'm excited right now because I know a lot of you just tasted this. And we're into a city I like. We've just pulled into dry city. This is extremely dry on the palate, and I love this wine for it. I get a roasted red peppers mixed with cranberry, mixed with hacksaw Jim Duggan's 2x4, chopped up, and all in a batch like a salad. And then you eat it, and that's what this wine tastes like. I get the oak, I get the wood, but I also get the roasted red pepper component, which is extremely fascinating, and a second tier flavor on this wine. More to the forefront is the dry sour cherries, which I'm enjoying quite a bit as well. I love the density of this wine. I like the balance of this wine. Here's where it really wins. On balance. Pay attention now. Let's drink this wine. Pay attention to the first flavor you taste. And as you're finishing the drink, now, I'm going to get you tipsy now. Let's try it again. And as you're drinking it, notice on the back end of your palate the gorgeous floral, fruity component. It's just absolutely delicious and integrated perfectly, leaving you with nothing but pleasantries. I'm going to leave you with pleasantries, does this wine say to you. And so that's what's so interesting. Watch the transition. That's the front end to the transition mid-palate. And then what you're left with, what I'm tasting now, is that little bit of woodiness, the cedar box, a little bit of clove on the end as well. That's called polish, and it's also extremely dry. I love the transition of the mid-palate to the finish, still tasting the wine, and it's extremely well made, $19 entry level, 2005 Bordeaux, completely impressive bottle of wine, extremely well made, very mouthfeel oriented. This is an 89, 90 point type wine, just gorgeous, really well made. I'm really feeling it. Great length. I might even be underrating it. Just extremely integrated, and that is impressive. Good winemaking going on here, along with good fruit, and this, to me, sums up 2005 Bordeaux in a very big way. This is a vintage that absolutely, hands down, is bringing obnoxious value in names you've never heard of. So while everybody's buying Pichon Lalande and Costes Vernal and all these big-time wineries for 80, 90, 100 bucks, rest assured you will be able to find some great value under 20 bucks. And look, even though it's a young vintage, I know, Mott, even though it's a young vintage, very drinkable at this point. And finally, this has been fun, Mott. And finally, a little rinse. What we have for you here is the wine that's been decanting. This is the Château de Kayak 2005 Grave. This is 60% Merlot, 25% Cabernet, 15% Cab Franc, classic 3 big grapes in Bordeaux. And what I think you're going to find here, especially since it's been decanting, is screaming value city. God, I love their white wine. I really did. I'm going to go back to that probably as I'm signing off today. But let's see what's going on here. On the sniffy sniff, my friends. I know everybody's happy right now because this is the rainbow, the Skittles rainbow exploding on the nose. And what I love about this wine is these have been traditional old world, and this wine kind of rubs that line of the new and the old world. It's like, do I go here? Do I go here? Kind of like Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back. He didn't know if he wanted to go to the dark side. He almost went. And so what this wine is trying to figure out is, do I go new world? Do I go old world? It's trying to find its course, but I love it right where it is. Right down Broadway, right down the middle. I believe gray is always better than black and white. The world lives in gray. Happiness is in gray. And I find this wine to be in gray on the nose as a fruit bomb meets old world. I get beautiful plum, cherry, raspberry, gorgeous strawberries. I mean, just a load of fruit. I also get a little bit of vegetable action going on here. There's almost even a hint of curry on the back end if you really get in there. So it's a really fascinating... Yeah, the curry's actually there. It's really interesting. Very fascinating wine. Great nose for a $16 wine, bringing way too much aromatically. A bouquet bomb. B squared on the nose, and I'm excited right now. You know what I think about wines with classic nose. I mean, to me, the sniffy sniff, the bouquet, the aromatics are half the battle, and knowing is half the battle, as G.I. Joe would say. And so knowing your bouquet is half the battle. Please get in there. Smell your wines. Smell them. You'll have a totally different experience. I'm loving this. I'm loving it. It smells like a Kit Kat smothered in raspberry jam. Let's give it a whirl. This wine is strawberry and roses for days. Strawberry rose, strawberry rose, strawberry rose. All day long. Absolutely beautiful. I get a black licorice, heavy black licorice, and dark 90% cocoa, percent chocolate on the back end. Really serious and refined, yet polished in a way that you think it's medium-bodied, but loaded with fruit. Not the heaviest wine I've ever felt on my palate. However, a wine that brings enormous brightness and freshness of fruit. A great example of what the Grave can do under $20, and to me, a massively exciting wine for the price point. A wine that I've been drinking quietly at home over the holidays. A wine that brings me a lot of pleasure. I love the nose. I mean, I could smell this wine for days. I mean, the nose is just on a different level. On the mouthfeel, not as crazy as the nose, but still extremely enjoyable, very well made, and absolutely polished and balanced and happiness and family and all that jazz that makes this time of year the absolute best time of year. I'm very fortunate because my mother is the greatest of all time, and I think about people and life and the world every day, the way most people think about the world and life and their family around this time of year. So remember, if we do anything in 2008 as a Vayner Nation, as the Vayniacs, let's treat every day like Christmas Eve. Let's treat everybody like we treat them on Christmas, because we are so darn lucky. It makes me want to throw up on myself when I realize how many people don't realize we are the greatest and luckiest, species. I mean, we could have been ladybugs. We're so goddamn lucky. The ladybugs are lucky, Mom. Maybe it would have been better to be... I don't know. I'm extremely happy. I'm happy because watching the people chaotically through the store, I see the love, and I wish I saw the love 365 days a year, like DL's video that Ma just linked up. Great bottle of wine. I hope you enjoyed this. Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to ask you a question today, but feel free with these 4 wines to ask me questions in the comments. Let's definitely do that. And today's question of the day, because we always do that, don't we, Mott? Mott, I want to get a bouncer. That was not bad. Oh, do you see that? Can you zoom on that? That landed on its side. That's cool, right? That must be luck. Here we go. Question of the day. Whose arm did you twist to watch the show? And did they leave during the opening rant? Guys, thank you. Because you, with a little bit of me, lots of Mott linking up, and all the health and happiness around the world, one step at a time, we made some serious damage in 2007. Let's keep it going for '08. Because you and me, but mainly you, we're changing the wine world. Happy holidays. I hope you enjoyed this. I miss you. I'll see you later.